Well, all you YOLO people, here we go for day 2 of the autumn meeting, and I'm really glad the boss decided to cover the Friday and leave Saturday for me. We're going to be drying him out in the boiler cupboard when he gets back, poor old boss. But we'll be nice to him, of course. Hot tea and a nice, warm brandy, I reckon. Now, 7 races on Saturday, and I just want to get a couple of those out of the way before we check in with Caroline over at Navan for Saturday's graded races. So, for the opener, it was a toss of the coin, I've got to tell you, between Secret Force and Precious Man for me. Heads it was, so my money's on Secret Force, who was impressive enough on his debut over hurdles for Gavin Cromwell, and won't be minding the conditions here, I would think. That said, Dan Skelton's Precious Man has come over from France, so also should be happy enough on this ground after Storm Claudia did her worst on Friday. But Secret Force it is. For the closer, this mare's bumper is as wide open as they come. But Fergal O'Brien's Edith Pelham showed enough at Aintree last month to get my support. She did have a right ding-dong with Tom Ellis's Ladies' Day there, but showed plenty of fight to get the job done. And she did look a very tempting price to me yesterday, so I've had a bit of a nibble at around 9-1, generous enough, I reckon. So that's where I am, with the progressive Celestial Tune looking like one to note. And of course, not to forget Dan Skelton's offering, Divine Diva Edith Pelham ain't no poor Edith to me when she wins this YOLO. Now over to Caroline for her 3 fancies at Navan.
Why, thank you, Jaysella, and it's Navan where I'll be on Sunday. Now, it will be no surprise to see the yellow clay go off at a short odds on price for the Lismullen hurdle, but I think that is fully justified, and I, for one, will be expecting a big campaign this winter, starting here. Easy to back, but not much of a return for your risk, so up to you. But the Fortria Chase is most interesting. Of course, we all know what an exciting talent Marine National is, but I'm of the opinion that he can be opposed, and that Willie Mullins's Dino Blue is the one to turn over the jolly. That would be my Saturday nap if I was on the main production, just because I think Marine National wouldn't want ground with this much cut. And Dino Blue is sometimes one that goes a bit under the radar. In the other graded race, earlier on, I'll take my chance with Henry de Bromhead's Ace Brannigan. He looked one to keep on side when winning at Tipperary the last day with a bit to spare, and I'm not overly concerned about this ground for him. But let me get back to you, Jaysella, for the big day at Cheltenham, and congratulations for napping Lodu Sud yesterday to beat the highly fancied John Bon.
Thank you, Caroline. And you know how it is, a girl's got to go with her gut, so it was always Lodu Sud for me. Not John Bond's track, and he's fully out there these days, so I'm totally happy to get that one spot on for the nap. Now, on to Saturday's nap, and let's hope it doesn't all unravel here. So, in the Arkle trial, I can't look any further than Henry de Bromhead's July Flower. The style in which she won at Limerick on her chasing bow made me stand up and take notice, and on the day that Rachel Blackmore got enlisted into the Racing Hall of Fame, she was interviewed on BBC Radio and picked out July Flower for special mention. I do think there's stacks of quality in Dan Skelton's Be Aware and James Owen's Burdett Road, but both might not want ground this deep, so for me, July Flower is my Saturday banker, yabba dabba doo if she does. My next best lines up in the intermediate hurdle. I'm in 2 minds here, because I like the way Dan Skelton is going about things just now, but Philip Hobbs and Johnson White look to have a good one with French Ship. So, a girl's got to make up her mind, so I'm going to plump for French Ship over Dan's Royal Infantry, based on my theory that he had plenty left in the tank when scoring here last month. Same place, same result, that's what I'm hoping. For all that, both sit at the top of the weights, so could always be vulnerable to one better weighted. With that in mind, Martin Keithley's De Tom en Temps fits that thinking, and at very tempting odds is my each-way pick. But I do think that French Ship is the one to follow. The second race on Saturday's card, the Amateur Jockey's Handicap Chase, is a tricky little one, where not one of these really stands out at first glance, but you probably won't be far away with Sound and Fury. He won nicely enough at Carlisle a couple of weeks back, and Ben Pauling is certainly a trainer in a purple patch just now, so with Gina Andrews booked for the trip, plenty of boxes ticked, I reckon. The Irish raider, Aurea Fortuna, looks the obvious danger, having scored twice in his last 3 races. But that profile ain't so different from Sound and Fury's, so I can easily see this pair being right there up the finishing straight. Autonomous Cloud completes my 3 as the each-way angle, but I like Sound and Fury for the win. For the feature, the Paddy Power Gold Cup Handicap Chase, I get that Jaguar has been well fancied to take this, and I know he's 2 from 2 here, but I'll buck that trend and go for Il Ridotto. Last year's winner gets a £6 pull from Jaguar. But what really concerns me is the lack of recent yard form, so there we are. I've said it, and I'm up there to be shot down. But stables do tend to perform in snatches, which is why there has been plenty of support all round for Dan Skelton's runners just now, so Panic Attack rates a threat, while Sam Thomas's Vincenzo is also on my list. Henry de Bromhead's Coming Up Easy has also been well touted, so cannot be ignored, and is my Irish angle. However, Il Ridotto has been around Prestbury Park so many times, I think I'll stick with that experience and give him the vote. Next up, well, Dan Skelton started off this autumn meeting on the front foot, with Apai de Nom scoring in Friday's opener, and Supremely West can go in for him here. Unfussy over his ground, Friday's onslaught of rain won't be dampening his enthusiasm. And I've got this race between Gavin Cromwell's London office, Call-In, and Supremely West Nigel, and Willie Twiston Davies' Gowell Road won the Grade 2 Cleve Hurdle here in January, so might be one to have a good paddock look at. But I do really like the appeal of Dan Skelton's Supremely West, so he gets my wad.